What up, YouTube? This is Building Better Lives podcast coming at you once again. And if you could do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe, and comment on the video if you like what I'm doing. But I wanted to come back with you again. There's a viral video. You can see it on TikTok. I'll definitely try to link it in the description below. It was a viral video on TikTok where this young lady is trying to expose her baby daddy because they have one child together and she has three other kids. And she is mad at him because she's only bringing his child food and not the other three, right? So she starts recording him, and she goes off, and you know, basically she's like, "Well, how are you gonna, bring just your kid food and not the three other kids? You know, I don't get my food stamps to a certain type of, certain day, whatever." And that just I'm not letting him get that food because he has other siblings. What I look like giving him this food, and and let him eat the food in front of the other kids, like my other kids got to eat. And she says, a key thing in that, she says, you know what you were getting yourself into when you dated me, because I had these other kids. Which is, I'm gonna come back to that point, but I first want to address the point. It's not his responsibility to take care of your other children, right? Now, if he married you, right, and he wasn't just baby daddy number four, which is crazy, uh, that he would be baby daddy number four, or baby daddy of child number four. I don't know how many kids are from different daddies in the situation. We can clearly see it's at least two different fathers in the situation. He also references where their daddy's at, so there may be more than just him and another guy. But he's taking care of his responsibility. His child is the only responsibility there, right? So it's not his responsibility to take care of the other three kids because those are not his children, right? He's not married to you. He has one child out of this relationship. His responsibility is to take care of those other children. Now, some people might look at that situation and be like, well, it's mean for him not to take care of the other kids, da 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 da. Those are his siblings or whatnot, and this could also cause a dynamic and a bad dynamic with the kids themselves as siblings, because while their fathers may not be there for them, and this kid's father is, now they feel some type of way, right? However, that's still not his responsibility. His responsibility is to be as a good father to the child he's created. That's how it is, cut and dry. And to try to shame him into taking care of other children makes me wonder, did you have a child with this particular guy because you thought that he would help you with the other kids? Newsflash, fellas, a lot of women do that, right? See, they already have 2 and 3 kids. They feel that if I have a child with this particular guy who's better than the other ones, then, he's going to be on the hook for these kids as well as the one we create, right? So therein comes the problem. Like, he already had set himself up for this, right? All the drama he's getting right now, well, he might be in the right that he, should only take care of his kids and it's not his problem. He's in the wrong because you chose poorly. Once again, this is a clear definition of choosing poorly, right? All the drama that you're going to get from this scenario, as wrong as she may be in trying to expose you for this, as wrong as she may be for, asking you to help her with her other children, even though you guys are not together, he is wrong for choosing that particular scenario. Why on earth would you say, hey, let me make a child with a woman who has 3 children from other people, right? And think there's not going to be any drama associated with that. So the kicker to this is that you look at that scenario and you wonder, did she make that choice to have a child with him, thinking he's the type of guy that I can rely upon, and when she didn't get what she wanted from the scenario, that's when they didn't work out, right? I think I don't know what he was thinking, but I think that maybe he didn't realize the gravity of the situation when he got himself involved. Maybe he did and chose to do it anyway. I can't speak to his mindset. What I can speak to is the scenario that's being presented. Women, you cannot expect a man to take care of your other children because you guys have a child together. And this goes to, any scenario, because there was a video a while back where a young lady got mad that a guy didn't want to pay for their babysitter when they went on a date, right? Or he didn't want to get the children food when they went out. Now, most people look at this scenario and be like, oh, well, the nice thing to do would have been this. Yeah, it is a nice thing to do, right off the bat and do that for someone's child. I mean, you step in that scenario, you probably should consider these things. However, it's still not my responsibility. I'm not wrong for not wanting to pay for your babysitter. If you're in a position that you want to be able to go on a date, then you should have those things lined up. I'm not going to be on the hook to pay for a babysitter if you want to date, right? I mean, there's two ways to look at that. Like, if you know what you're signing up for, you want to take this girl on a date, then hey, you should probably think of the easiest way to get her out on a date. The other scenario is if you want, as a female, if you want to date, then you should probably line some things up that you're able to date, right? You can't get mad at men for doing what comes natural to them, and that's looking out for their own, right? And that's why I tell men, sometimes you have to consider, do you want to date a single mother? Because there's a lot of things that come along with that, right? If you date a woman who has multiple children, your resources are going to be divided amongst those children and her, which means that any seed that you have will have to share in the resources of another man's child, right? So that's less resources. Everything that you're working for is, spread across to help out other men spawn. What are those men doing to help out your child? Probably nothing. It'd be different if you get in a scenario, which is, unlikely, but it'd be different if you get in a scenario, you marry a woman who has 2-3 kids, and the father of those other children, when Christmas times come around, birthdays come around, they trick on your kids just like you trick on theirs. That dynamic would be beautiful, but, it's more likely it's not going to happen. Because if those guys were everything they were supposed to be, she'd probably still be with them. All right? And since she's not with them, that means there's something that probably didn't work out, right? And no matter what the case is, no matter if he's paying child support, no matter what he's doing, those resources, once you marry that woman, are going to go towards her other children as well, which means less resources for your child. Versus if you married a woman who didn't have children, and y'all had a child together, every child that you create from that particular scenario, all your resources will go to your own seed, right? When you date a woman who has multiple children by multiple different dudes, or just one dude, and you decide that you want to have a child with them, your child's always going to get the short end of the stick. Because if you show any favoritism to your child, that is going to be almost a World War III in there, right? If you decide I'm gonna date a woman, but I'm only gonna focus on my kid, it would never last, right? It would never work, and you're opening yourself up in trouble. And that gets me to the second thing. And until you have that child, there was always going to be 2 units in the house, them and you, right? He was there before you got there. He or she was there before you got there. So they have been used to being their own unit, and which means that you will always be an outsider to the group, right? You'll always be an outsider to the group, no matter how much love you have. If you decide to raise your voice at that kid, she's immediately going to take offense. Even if you're paying every bill in the house, every bill, that has to do with that child, stepping up and being the dad that this child needs, and because the other dad is not being there, you still will be painted as the bad guy if you decide that you want to, implement any discipline in that child's life, right? And so, guys, I caution you to, really, really decide, are you willing to deal with all the drama that comes with dating single mothers, right? And when I say single mothers, I'm talking about single mothers and co-parenting mothers. There's the distinction. I say that because single mothers, there are a lot of times when women say they're single mothers, they're not really single mothers, because if you're getting any help from the father, then you're co-parenting, right? Now, if you're truly a single mother, that means no one else is helping you. No one else. You're doing this all by yourself, right? That's what a single parent is. But if you're co-parent, then it's still issues because you come in a scenario, you're still gonna have to spend money, and you can't even discipline the child that's living in your house because the majority of the time the child's with the mother, right? So your resources, even if you don't count it, you can't just get a 1 bedroom. If you and this chick decide to move in together, you can't just get one bedroom. You gotta get a 2 bedroom. So that means more of your money is going out the door. And every woman can say, oh, I take care of my child, but you're not gonna date a man. You got a child and he don't do nothing for your kid and be like, yeah, because you'd be a bad single mom. You'd be a bad mom if you did that. If you dated a man who didn't do anything for your child, right? So men, it's a catch-22 because women who have children can't date a guy who's not going to do anything for your child. Defeats the point in having a man. Men dating a woman who has a child got to understand that you're always going to be the back seat. So I recommend staying with the person that you had the child with, and making better decisions about who you have children with, right? Because it's not the next man's responsibility to make up for the mistakes that you made with the previous one. It's not my responsibility now that me and you have a child together to make up for every fault that the other father is not doing. It's just not fair to my child. It's not fair to me because I didn't create those other children and I'm not with you. Right? If I have child number 1, you go ahead and go forward and have 4 of the kids behind that, but because my child is the first child you had, I'm supposed to take care of them. Yeah, it'd be a great thing for a guy to do, but that's not something you can require him and get mad that he does it. If you can't take care of all the children together, then maybe you need to think about giving the child that can be taken care of to the father. But if you can't take care of it, if it's such a burden to have that many children, which she stated, that she's, from what she said, she's not getting her food stamps, means she can't feed her children without government assistance. Well, maybe you need to think about giving your child to the father that you claim that everybody thinks is such a good daddy. Because obviously he's the only good daddy out the bunch. He's the only one that's being able to, feed his child. And you focus on taking care of those other children. Right? Don't blame the guy for what you are doing or what you have done and expect him to just, take it on the chin that you're not doing things the way you're supposed to be doing. But anyway, guys, definitely, just wanted to drop that tidbit in your ear. It's a quick video today. If you like what we're talking about, please like, share, and subscribe to this video. And if you agree with, what would you have done? Would you have bought all the kids' meals? Or would you have stood your ground and said, well, I'm only going to buy my kid meal? It's like if school shopping comes around, are you going to buy all the kids' school clothes or are you going to buy your kids' school clothes? But, like I said, you have to make better decisions on who you choose to deal with because you can be faced with that scenario. Because you're really in a scenario where, yeah, you technically may be right, but it's hard to say, well, I'm going to come into a house and bring clothes for just my kids and all the other kids are suffering, right? I mean, because they're still children. They didn't ask to be in the scenario, right? So, you have to ask yourself a question. Do you want to put yourself in that scenario? Right? But anyway, tell me what you think, guys. Comment below what you think about it. Once again, I want to thank you for listening to Building Better Lives podcast. This is, it's been a joy to bring this message to you today. Like I said, like, share, and subscribe to the video. Anyway, peace out, YouTube.